Very good gamers. How are we? This is Games and Chill, and we're in a new video in the legendary Traveler build. PYRO tayo. A very sound traveler in the community, a traveler in which some of us had hopes that it was moderately good. Spoiler, it's gonna surprise you.
What the f?
And traveler who at least came to think that he would have some utility as a Bennett Little or Little Xiangling. And the reality is that it does have some utility. It's rescuable in some teams specifically. The NATLAN. So let's see. Building construction. I think fast. Because the truth is that for the first time they have made little exaggeration in the constellations and so on. Let us remember that the constellations are double and only C affects the second half of the constellations, and in fact keep in mind that today we only have 5 constellations. The 6th is not unlocked the second half, the first one is, but the first only is to fight against the weekly boss that is very epic, and I recommend you do the mission. So let's see and reveal today all the construction, mechanics, operation, and the secrets of the Traveler PYRO. So subscribe, leave a good comment for the guild. Thank you for enjoying and watching the video channel. Thank you for all the love and support. Remember that it really doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Recommend position to the video makes us grow a lot. The entire team of the channel is. Thank you, so thank you. And only for that you know that you enter once a day in a lunar blessing draw just for giving like, subscribing with bell. That's mandatory. Comment, and the more videos and content on the channel you interact, more possibilities. Traveler PYRO, well, she and even watching this video has not been unlocked until do not reach the last tribe of NATLAN, which is the tribe of Genshin. The Cheeks Cannon. Not the temporary Chinsi, which is the boss, with which it is a support, is in fact a Mavuika small, but with a lot of problems and a bad uptime. I now explain what that is. For the new ones and their chicks that we don't have yet, but on the 5/5 dive that's still a lot we'll have. He's going to turn the Traveler into DPS into a carry because he's going to imbue PYRO, and now I also explain how it would work in case someone wants to build it that way later. Noctambulism points F in the comments because at least since all the characters of NATLAN and with Noctambulism points at least also give us say that some mount, though it's very bad, like Ororon's, which climbs up like this a little bit vertically, and then you plan, and I don't know why. I don't understand why they haven't somehow given the Traveler any minimal advantage as a saddle or travel. The truth is that another negative point on Hoyoverse's part with this kind of thing, but DPS doesn't go up, and until 5/5 there's 3 months left with which you don't raise it. Then the skill Elemental has 2 modes. The Pulsar mode, once it gives you a ring around that looks like, let's say, a kind of Nile aura that reapplies PYRO in an extremely constant way, but does not allow you doing high damage, far less, just applies PYRO continuously, and it is also very noticeable that it is mainly for Quinich and for Moalani, who need that PYRO app, plus a character. Give them the parchment set, and if you keep it pressed, you make, instead of it being an aura around your PYRO that applies continuously with very fast ticks that will not hurt, practically a very big hit every 3 seconds. Then the maintained elemental is the worst way, because that every 3 seconds is worse than Dehia's hit. Every 2.5 is Dehia is better than the Traveler. PYRO off the field, and in case you want to play the DPS inside the field, yes, friends, with it, that you will mainly simply do ulti elemental with the Traveler and change the elemental. Charged unless it's done 6, I won't recommend it, or unless someone says good, but for a team cracking with triple mastery good, you can play Deha that blows her every 2 seconds. And maybe you've got 0 on your account because they've got the perm and then 1 left. To crack it would be better than the Traveler himself, or the Toma triple mastery to crack her. It would still be better for her to travel, so keep this in mind. And then the stats, the ticks. Normal elementary mode rapids, which is what you will mostly use 35% of the scale. Little ticks I kept. That's when you keep the elementary ticks every 3 seconds. 101%, almost triple the damage, and the initial hit in both cases you do is 123% not. Is not bad limit of noctambulism, points 80 that here. Because like all the characters of NATLAN just like Citral, and it gives you a lot of text and you earn a few points and you lose it. And you do things. Stranger don't care because everything is elementary ulti, and you do the perfect rotation and then cooldown 18 is. The first traveler who rotates me 20 has a rotation of 18, which is a little bit better and will adapts well. For example, here Nitz that also has 18, Mualani has 15, with which good. But Mavuika also has 18, with which the rotation of Mualani for now remains of 18 seconds, but then the uptime, even if I'm 18 in the elementary, the time you're hitting. With your elementary ability, it's about 10 seconds. In fact, if you do it wrong, it's 8 seconds, with which comparison that this is uptime, not the time of use, comparison with time. That's why it's being said and listen, for many places that is therefore a bad character to vary, but the normal elementary that continually plows Pyro and activates the parchment set would do well as an alternative. For here Nitz and Mualani, although existing Mavuika that is like a second Siangling though. Many are playing carry since releasing a Siangling because it would be nice to play Kinisho. Mualani with Siangling, even if he has 20 seconds, because for Kinich he gives you 14 seconds of Pyronado, plus the set of memories of the forest to lower resistance inside, if I remember the forest, and with Owl. Xiangling can carry the instructor set on the Mualani team, but good important to clarify. All this, his elemental rather poor, his ulti 70 of cost, that with this talent of ascent. Here you pass to 61 of cost, that within what fits is a quite low cost to be a traveler almost out. All travelers have 80 of actual cost and 18 of cooldown and climbing, that has those. Keenness 34. Be careful, because here is an ulti that does good damage if you melt it if you want to play. For example, the same team of Mavuika and play with the Traveler instead of with Mavuika the Traveler. It can reach 1 million, and it's not a joke if you max have the Ultima for a showcase for a laugh at it. I'd better challenge myself on the channel in the direct. Welcome guests to the directs within. Here a week away when we meet the rest of the challenges and records that there are likely to pose a challenge of taking out 1 million with the Traveler Pyro, and I think it can be perfectly because the climbing of your if it's big the ulti that does nothing, you don't have a lot of text, basically is to throw the ulti and do a large number that can vaporize or melt as easily, and then first extension talent. When the Traveler has more than 20 noctambulism points, you have a larger area with her. Your elementary ability that coincides with who made Mualani to make their reactions? Well, and it's basically a lot of text, but in almost every respect if there are reactions with Pyro. Who made Mualani are very good examples of vaporized and burns and cracking regenerates. A total of 9 points of energy for you to have cost of 61 or an easy and rise or without. Much text then, the cost 61 makes the Traveler within the comparison to the rest of Travelers do not cost 80 but cost 61, so it requires not 200 of recharging of energy but closer to 175, 180. That's fine, truth. That's pretty good to be a Traveler now. The constellations you will have all, but basically you have to understand that the CE is that up to 5.5, not the. We will have none is the one that is imbued from Pyro to be carry. Then the C3 and C5 are the elementary and the. Last 3 easy, and then the cone makes the character in the field have 15% more damage. Infringe this would benefit mainly here, Nisi Mualani curiously. So it is interesting. And at least there's a minimal synergy for here Nisi Mualani with the Traveler than the C2 Mu. During the seconds after using the elementary ability, if there is a Pyro reaction, the Traveler recovers noctambulism so that the elementary ability lasts longer. Spoiler comes to last 12-18 with which if angling with 14-20 still makes you a little bit better, but it's okay and makes it work. For Mualani for here, nor did I repeat it much in the video, but it is true, the Traveler literally. It's made so that if you're going to play a team of Mualani Kari or Mavuika Kari, forgiveness and no have improved greatly with Mavuika, as well have the Traveler and have an alternative there. Not to spend in quotation marks a Siang link with Quinish or Mualani, or is not rotating the Siang set. Link because to play it you will normally play Emblem of the Destination, but for here Nicey is better. With Memories of the Forest as I said before, and for Mualani, with Instructor then he has a minimal synergy with these two characters, and then the next one is that the Traveler himself wins 20%. So nothing more than sets if you're going to support like most teams you already I have said a lot, so do not put in the comments Kinich Morlani then Parchment if, when we have 6 in 3 months, what it is to play Obsidian Kari and Parchment. That must carry a building, so let's say conventional sub DPS, because it does not require more. We would say that Lime and Pyro in all cases probability helmet, or if the weapon gives you critical damage, because critical damage helmet and the clock would be 2 alternative attack or recharge, and why I say attack or recharge, because if you carry a weapon that harms you, then the clock should be of recharge, because I doubt very much that you get 75-80 of recharge only in substats, but yes, for the that only has that recharge in particles for the equipment. Then, with the Favonius, the clock can be perfectly attack, not mastery or anything else. This support, all it does is hit many ticks of pyro, and it is no longer making the support reactions, and so easily the substats probability critical damage recharge, considering if you wear Favonius, no, over 180, because you will have per multi, and since you will not weather critical proportion in principle, do not look for percentage, only look for proportion, even if it is more complicated, and then I'd say that for you to complicate us, even with Shalon and with Furina, and with a quantity quite wide character is recommended. Favonius would say that also if you want to play support, you take him Favonius so that Quinichu Mualani has the per multi teams, and don't worry, and I already have 61 charging now, only for the weapon, but if you want to go further and play with the clock, Wretch, as I explained, even though you lost particles on the team, you can try to force, say, weapons that give us proportion or is critical damage or critical probability, and separates Furina's weapon. That harms you in elementary ability serves you enough, because elementary ability is what? More damage will be done apart from the ulti nuke, but the ulti nuke is for teams, where you seek nukia the ulti, so weapons of critical proportion in general of these. The damage sub DPS have is almost anyone that suits you, but I would recommend the Favonius, to go quiet and play it in a balanced way, and then the stats as it recharges power 75-80. To have per multi on all teams the proportion, because at least try to get 70. That the Favonius and the damage more than 120 and the attack are activated, and do not worry what you get. Naturally, it is the summary of the Traveler Pyro teams, as you already know, to leave it in the comments, and if you have reached this point and have not remembered the teams down to the comments to see which 2 teams are the ones I recommend, but well, this gentleman goes out to say hello, for you to know that basically he and the little shark, the sharped one, are the ones who get the most out of it. Benefit the Traveler Pyro or the Traveler Pyro, and the truth is that little more. This is the build you see. An extremely short will, but it is the build that really brings out the Traveler's potential effectively. And again, we've been snagged by a little Traveler. It's okay to leave a good like a good one. Utility in subscribing, leave a good comment for the algorithm. Thanks for enjoying and seeing the video and the channel. Remember, if you haven't seen the Mavuika building of Sideli or the tier list of meta equipment, or the video of Mavuika equipment that you have asked me a lot is already in YouTube. Take care, to have a very good night, and bye.